Hello, welcome back to the Cocco channel. Guess what? It's a horror story, everybody. Raise your hands in the air. Woo woo! No joke, the #1 comment I get is, when am I gonna do more story times? And I've been waiting for something crazy to happen, I promise. And I've literally been digging through my brain of what happened to me in my life, because I do have some crazy stories, and I am so glad that this is how a lot of you found me. So without further ado, let's get started. So this story is, I don't think it's that long, but I was like playing over it in my mind for the last couple days, getting ready to tell it, and it's been, I want to say like 13 years. I was like 19 or 20 maybe. So that's like 22 years. So this takes place in Las Vegas, and with my best friend Chris, who, if you did not meet him, if you didn't see him, he was in my Texas vlog back in November. We did an epic birthday trip, and he's been in so many of my story times, and a lot of you were like, it's so nice to put a face to a name. So I will link that vlog down below if you're curious who he is. Don't pay attention to my nails because they're a mess. So Chris has a set of twin brothers. I'm saying that like Minions twin brother from Despicable Me #3. And so he has a set of twin brothers that are older, and they had a friend in high school, and I always say, like, I'm not going to say their names, and then I end up saying it in the story. I always get called out for that. Like, I abbreviate with, like, the letter M, and I say the name, and you guys call me out in the comments. So anyways, this girl's name was, I think, Kaylee, I want to say. I literally don't care because I'm going to end up saying it. So I'm not going to even try abbreviating it. And she was very well off. Her dad owned a dealership, and so she lived in this bomb neighborhood in southwest Las Vegas. It was called Anthem. Oh man, like her house had an elevator, like she was well off. So at this time she had a little boy who I think was maybe 2, I want to say, and she was like 8 months pregnant during this time, right? So I don't even remember how this came about, but we were living in the apartment, Chris and I together. This was like before, you know, the horrible ex-boyfriend story and all of that. This was like way before any of that. I think Chris and I were actually maybe had just quit Target, and I just got to Converse, or I was still working at Target. And so an opportunity came up where we could make some extra money. So like I said, her dad owned a dealership. And so I don't know how any of that stuff works. I don't know like if this was a regular thing, but they would buy cars from the auction, and that would be like their used car section on the lot. I couldn't even tell you what car dealership that he owned. I honestly don't remember, or if I even knew. But anyways, so it came about that we could go to the auction and make some money. So that ended up falling through, and we were all really bummed because like we seriously needed money. Chris and I were poor living in this apartment, you guys. I mean, poor. And so something else came up where some other vehicles were available, but they were in the state of California. And so I think there was like a total of 4. So we had to find somebody else. And this girl was a maniac. I can't remember her name. I think it was Asia, I want to say, but she wasn't Asian. I don't know why that matters. Anyway, so the 4 of us get in Kaylee's car, and I think this was like one of the first times I remember having a full-blown panic attack. This girl was the craziest driver. I just remember being on the freeway, and I was doing my makeup. Like, I remember this so vividly. I was doing my makeup, and she was like swerving into like the lane where a semi was, and I remember the hot feeling like creeping to my palms, and I just started sweating, and I had to like look up, and I like couldn't breathe. This was like, you know, a legit panic attack, like for my life, not anxiety. It was like extreme fear. So anyways, we have this like 3 or 4 hour trek through the backwoods, like where this at is in California, like you're not thinking of the same California. It's not like by the ocean or LA or anything like that. There's a portion of California that's called the high desert. It's so ugly. And I can say that because both of my parents are from like Victorville, Rainbow, like the uglier parts. And if you live there and you take offense, I'm sorry. But it was like the back ugly roads of California. So I think that we went and picked up another car and took it to the dealership in California, I want to say. And they gave us like only the brand names of the vehicles. It was a Dodge, a VW, a Ford, and something else. I can't even remember. And so they were like betting on what vehicles, like make, it was. And so they were thinking it was going to be a Ford Mustang, and they were thinking it was going to be a Jetta like hatchback from VW. And so Dodge, to me, I just think of like a ugly old pickup truck because that's what my great grandparents had. And so I was like, man, I really don't want the Dodge. And so the girl Asia's like, I'm not taking the Dodge. So they all like called it at the same time. Chris's dream car was a VW, so he called VW. Kaylee called the Ford. And so I got stuck with the Dodge, and I was so mad, you guys. I was so stinking mad. So we get there, and the guy gives us the keys. It's a Dodge Magnum with a Hemi. And she like was like, no, I want the Dodge. It was like this whole thing. I was like, dude, grow up. You called the other car, like, just because now you found out. It was like this whole thing. It was so stupid. It has nothing to do with the story. So just to give you an idea of this girl. So we all get in our cars and we're super pumped. Chris gets the hatchback, I'm pretty sure. It was like a fast little 5-speed, which he loved driving stick. Mine, thank God, was an automatic because I don't know how to drive stick. And I'm pretty sure it ended up being a Mustang. I can't remember the other people's cars. I was just more focused on Chris and I. And so we were like super pumped. And so we get in the cars and they're out of gas. And we were like, what? WTF? Like, why isn't there any gas in the cars? Like, how the heck are we gonna drive this to another state? So Kaylee's like, okay, my dad gave me this much money to put in the car. So us being the idiot teenagers, that we were like, well, okay, so we have this much money. If we put just about this much in each car, we have enough enough money for food. And yes, I was a smoker, so we're like, food and cigarettes, that's all we need, man. Food and cigarettes, we're good to go. So we stopped, we ate, we each got a pack of cigarettes, we're smoking in these cars. We're such idiots. Teenagers are so stupid. So we get in these cars, we only put like, I don't know, a quarter tank of gas in it. Did I mention that I'm in a Dodge Magnum with a Hemi? Driving to another state? Oh my gosh. So we don't even make it out of this town, and I couldn't even remember what town this was. We don't even make it out of this town, and we're supposed to be following each other. Well, this girl Asia, who is still really upset that I wouldn't let her have the Dodge Magnum with a Hemi, she was really mad, and so we lose her. We have no idea where she is, and I can't remember if we even had phones at this time, you guys. Like, it was so long ago. I'm sure we had cell phones, but I don't know if we were using them. But I just remember seeing her on the side of the road. So we all pull over. She hit somebody. She hit somebody. So it's this poor, like, young mom that has, I can't remember if she had kids with her or if she was pregnant. I can't remember, but I just remember distinctly like thinking like, oh my gosh, she's a mom. She just got hit by this girl who's an idiot, who's driving a car that isn't hers. So naturally, this lady wants to call the cops. Well, not me. I didn't want any part of this. It was such a stinking mess. Kaylee and this girl are like convincing her, and Kaylee's telling her like how wealthy she is, and her dad owns a dealership, and that we were driving these cars and this and that, and like, please don't call the cops, that she'll pay her extra. She gave her like information, like phone numbers and addresses and like her dad's information and like what dealership he owned, like, just please don't call the cops. These cars are not registered yet. It would be like this huge mess, and that she's gonna give her extra money. So this girl who hit her, that's in our group, Asia, we'll just call her Asia, she starts like freaking the heck out. And I'm like, what in the heck is wrong with you? Like, she's just getting on my last nerve. I'm about to, you know, lose my stuff. She's like, I don't have a driver's license and I have a warrant out for my arrest. And we were like, okay, so this girl's gonna go to jail, and these cars are gonna get confiscated, and who knows where we're gonna end up because we're in another freaking state. So Chris and I are like, how did we get in this situation? We asked ourselves that a lot in our years and years of friendship before I got on the straight and narrow, got into a lot of trouble. So we're freaking out, you know, like, oh my gosh. So this poor girl, she agrees to the bribe. And so we all left, or maybe she left first, because I remember hearing Kaylee say, I gave her false information. You guys, I wanted to die. Like, this poor lady trusted you, thinks that she's gonna get some money. Like, there wasn't damage to the cars. It was like, I don't know if she just tapped her on the butt. I don't know. I can't remember the whole story. I just remember she hit somebody. And so she thinks that she's like kind of gonna get a payday out of this. And Kaylee gave her all false information. And the vehicle information isn't going to get tied to anybody because they're not registered. She just has like a make and a model. There's no plates on this. So not only that, like, we're driving these cars with no plates or anything. This girl doesn't have a driver's license and has a dang warrant out. So like the whole entire situation was sketchy AF. So sketchy. So we get back on our merry little way, and because there's no plates and there's no registration, like there's nothing on these cars, we take the scariest back roads you've ever seen. And I lived in Arkansas for frickin' 5 years, and there are some scary back roads. No, nothing compares to the California back roads, you guys. I'm not even kidding. So we're like on these 2-lane highways, and at first it's fun. Like, Chris and I we're having a pretty good time. We're like blaring music. Like I said, we're smoking our cigarettes. We're being idiot teenagers. We're driving really fast. Driving really fast. What does that do? Burns up gas. So I think it was Chris ends up pulling over, and he's like, I'm gonna run out of gas. Like, I'm going to break down. I'm gonna break down. So I think we had to go get him gas. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember all the details of it. So then I'm pretty sure we had to like leave his car and go get gas and then come back. It was the longest day of my entire life. So we get all the cars back to Kaylee's house, and like the last 20 minutes of driving into Vegas, Chris and I were having such a good time because we got him gas. We were going, no joke, probably like 110 miles on the freeway, and we were like doing leapfrog and like going in front of each other. We were having such a good freaking time. Like, that was the way to end the day. And then we get to the house, and I think we made like $100, and like $100 to us back then was like, you know, part of rent. That was like toilet paper. We were so freaking excited that we made $200 to like contribute to the house, but it was insane. I know this isn't like a super long story, and I don't know what ended up happening to that girl Asia. I don't think I ever saw her again. And we stopped hanging out with Kaylee, or I did, because she got in some trouble. Anyways, that was our crazy driving stolen cars story. I'm pretty sure they were stolen because where we got them, I don't even think I went into detail about that. Like, it was like a lot. It wasn't like another dealership, it was a lot. So I'm pretty sure they were stolen cars. And that was my little stint in the crime community. One and only crime stunt that I didn't know was a crime at the time. Can't believe that we did that. Like, looking at it now, I should have known like dang well that those were probably stolen cars that we were driving. No plates, no registration, and then driving with a girl that has a warrant out. Like, I wonder what Chris is gonna say, if he's gonna think, if he forgot about this, because it was insane. But anyways, that's it for me. I do have some more in the bank, and I think I'm gonna get into some more serious ones, or not like as like drama, but it's like more serious stuff. I was telling you guys I was gonna get into my high school horrors. Boy, do I have some. And I'm gonna do some more story time videos. I know that they're your favorite, and that makes me so happy, but just try and be patient with me because it's hard to, you know, I told so many, so I'm trying to think of some more, and nothing crazy really has happened yet, so that's a good thing for me personally, but not for my YouTube channel, if you know what I mean. So I love you guys so much. If you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Brittany Cocco. You're watching the Cocco channel, where I vlog and do hauls and do other things besides tell you the crazy stuff that happened in my crazy life. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.